Hey everyone, I'll be covering all of the Nintendo Switch's game announcements for the third week of September, so let's get started. Our first game announcement this week is Capcom's very own Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy getting ported to the Switch in 2019. This is a collection that includes the first GBA game, its sequel Justice for All, and finally Trials and Tribulations. Bandai Namco surprised us with two interesting announcements. The JRPG that plays more like an MMORPG, Sword Art Online Hollow Realization, is releasing in 2019, featuring massive expansive areas and fierce 16-character raid boss battles. Following that announcement, we found out that Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet Complete Edition is also getting ported to the Switch, and it will include all of the previously available DLC. This game plays more like a third-person shooter than your traditional JRPG, taking place in the virtual game Gun Gale Online. Data mining the latest 5.1.8 patch for Smite has revealed that it links back to the Nintendo Switch eShop for you to be able to buy in-game crystals and credit just like Paladins did before it released on Switch, so we await confirmation from Hi-Rez Studios. Silver Chains is a first-person horror game where you must discover and solve the events that transpired in an old abandoned manor. Blaze Blue Central Fiction Special Edition has been confirmed by Arc System Works for the Switch. People have been rumoring that this version will finally be properly localized. Nirvana, a cyberpunk bartender, is a direct sequel to the beloved Valhalla. This dystopian cyberpunk world is full of interesting people to meet, drinks to mix, and secret missions to experience. SaGa Genesis Classics is finally coming to the Switch. This collection of over 50 retro favorites from the Genesis era will include Switch-exclusive same-screen local co-op options and one Joy-Con control support. In Jet O'Mara, Hero of the Universe, you play as a giant, clumsy, indestructible robot determined to save all humans. However, everywhere he goes, it destroys everything. It's releasing October 4th. A remastering of Romancing Saga 3 is releasing for Switch in 2019. This is a classic 2D sprite-based JRPG series that is also getting a sequel in the mobile game. Featuring up to 8-player matches, A Gummy's Life is a wacky fighting/party game with physics-based mechanics and tons of game modes. The voxel farming and village life sim Staxel is releasing next year. You can build your own world, not just your farm, however you see fit. Virtual Racing SaGa Ages was announced at TGS for Switch. What makes this announcement interesting is that it moves us one step closer to a Sega Saturn and Dreamcast ports. Dangan Entertainment announced that Momodora Reverie Under the Moonlight is coming to the Switch. This is a side-scrolling action platformer with melee combos in a gorgeous pixel art world. But their news weren't done there. Minoria is a sequel to the aforementioned Momodora, focusing on more precise combat and faster reaction times, and is set to release in 2019. In the single-player adventure game Summer and Mara, you take control of your own island, farming, crafting, and fighting in order to survive, but you can also travel to other islands to meet people. The co-op puzzle adventure game Pitfall Planet is releasing this fall, where you can explore a weird diverse world full of caverns, secrets, and adventures. Asterbreed takes the classic arcade shooter and then enhances its 3D models, particle effects for a whole new generation. Koei Tecmo is bringing Kiniro no Korda Octave to the Switch. This is the newest entry of this love simulation Otome series with over 22 characters to choose from. The Kickstarter project for Blood Nor Water has surpassed its Switch stretch goal. This is a narrative-driven strategy game focusing on a group of soldiers in a much bigger war that surrounds them. Announced and released out of nowhere, Risk of Rain is an action platformer with roguelike elements. Local and online multiplayer is supported with 12 unique characters. The Square Enix Collective is bringing Oh My Godhead's Party Edition to the Switch. This is a fast-paced manic multiplayer game where you must capture the head to win. Dangan Entertainment announced 3 Switch projects, starting with the fast-paced platformer Renane, which features a combo meter not only to become more powerful, but to help speedrunners. In the side-scrolling shooter Devil Engine, you take on the world's military with just one ship and gorgeous pixel 2D visuals. And lastly, in Astalon Tears of Earth, 3 explorers wander through a post-apocalyptic desert to find their way back home. The Bomberman-like Scrapbrush is making its way to the Switch early next year, featuring tons of new stages and even a single-player mode. In the hack-and-slash game with roguelike elements Hero Siege, you can choose up to 14 different classes for you to play in your playthrough, each with their own talent trees and abilities. Appearing on the eShop, Think of the Children is a frantic cooperative parenting simulator with multiple objectives to achieve all at once. In the visual novel Yu Meltsusu Remaster, you play as Ai, a young woman who just started working at a game company full of weird and eccentric characters that you must befriend to complete the game. 5PB announced that the remake of Yuno, A Girl Who Chants Love at the Bound of This World, is coming to the Switch, and early copies of the visual novel will include a free copy of Yuno, The Great Adventure as a bonus. Targeting a 2019 release, the visual novel Blue Blood Lagoon focuses on a romance story during the Chinese Civil War in the 1940s. Releasing on the Japanese eShop in October, Eve Burst Error R is supportive of Vita visual novel that's getting upgraded graphics, skip-to-text options, and branching dialogue tweaks. Originally planned for Wii U, the Swindle is now making its way to the Switch. You'll be breaking into buildings, hacking their systems to steal everything you can to fit in your pockets. Don't Sink is a mixture of sandbox, adventure, and pirate RPG set in a massive world full of unique islands and landscapes. Releasing in spring of 2019, This Is Pool features many game modes including a career mode, trick shot scenarios, and more importantly, online multiplayer. Rooms The Adventures of Anne and George has you solving puzzles via co-op gameplay with story mode with over 160 levels and is releasing September 27th. Releasing October 8th, Bombing Busters features over 30 Bomberman-like stages with online gameplay supported and up to 8 players. In October 11th, Tricky Towers releases on the eShop. This is a physics stacking game where you must race to have the highest tower. The classic visual novel Planetarian: The Reverie of Little Planet is a remastering of the Steam game that is now heading to the Switch sometime next year. Double Pug is a self-proclaimed challenging platformer with not very unique dimension-swapping powers. A port of the mobile game Jack and Jill DX is coming to Switch with lots of updates and is releasing later this month. One Finger Death Punch 2 is a sequel to the original 2013 game, where you only need one button presses to help you unleash your fury. And that's all the game announcements we'll be covering this week. I'm very disappointed in the support the Switch has seen at TGS. I honestly expected the Japanese publishers to flood the Switch with games since it's doing so well in Japan, but that's clearly not been the case. I'll be doing a follow-up video on this in the upcoming weeks to see what's actually going on regarding this because it just really doesn't add up. So with all that said, as per always, thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate the support. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up. See ya!